Welcome to 30 and Nerdy. My name is David.
I'm AJ.
What, Brady?
Whoa!
Kind of thought about doing a different intro. Be like, hey, what do you say? Because that's the only intro I can remember.
Hey, kids.
Because there's a guy who always does these intercom announcements at work. He's like, hey, what do you say? We got a great deal back here today. And every time we're like, oh, we don't care
Well,
about
there's
your deal.
foodies and there's seafoodies.
And he's a seafoodie. But as we promised last week, we are going to be doing movies. And I know we've been spending a lot of time lately with movies, but that's because we love them.
Movies are pretty sweet.
And
They're an easy topic, don't lie.
There's a lot of them.
There's so many.
Speaking of movies, I just watched Blade Runner 2049.
my brother
Did you
and
love
I
it?
are going in to watch that
really
sometime.
good.
I want to see it.
Except I think I need to stop seeing movies at this new Altoona theater because those seats are too comfortable and I fell asleep. I'm like reclined all the way back and it's kind of warm and like out cold.
They're so comfy, though.
Then there was a gunshot and I my whole body panicked and shook awake.
Did anybody notice around you?
Oh yeah, everybody.
You know what's really funny, though?
It was very flagrant. Just,
Did they laugh?
there was some snickering.
So, David took me to go see the second Matrix movie, and during that huge dance scene, I passed the fuck out. Hardcore.
Did you?
Dance.
I remember that.
Oh,
You
yeah.
don't remember the... Okay, we talked about the Matrix Reloaded last week. You don't remember the whole huge dance?
It's like a 10-minute scene of just people dancing in Zion.
And there's water
And then-
for some reason.
And then
Oh yeah.
Neo starts fucking Trinity, and it just looks like two dudes fucking
Yep, I
because
remember
Trinity
that.
looks like a guy.
I remember that now. Well, the Matrix killed the flow.
And as you can hear, we have the window open, and apparently a trucker likes what we're saying.
Yeah,
Fuck if you like movies. Well, we have the window because it's a crisp 57 here.
I know it is gorgeous. I am wearing a hoodie, but that's just because I like to be a little bit warmer. Just a touch.
You do you.
you do you. Like, I'm like, it's nice. KJ's gonna kill me when she gets home. She's gonna be like, we need to turn on the heat.
I tell her to go put a blanket on.
So I said, bitch. A little bit of Key and Peele for you.
No, you are going to die.
Yeah, I am. Yeah,
She'd
I
be
know.
sitting in her
It
cubicle.
was a reference.
She's going to be sitting in her cubicle and be like, AJ, you're dead. You're dead.
You're dead to me.
All right, but topic at hand.
We kind of got into it a little bit. We are going to finish it this week on movies that are well received, but that we just can't stand. Or maybe even just nominally dislike. Or just dislike because other people like it.
Do they have to be good movies or just
Does that make
movies
us emo
exist
or-
that are popular?
What's the
Edgelords?
phrase? Edgelord, just not liking something because somebody else likes it.
Yeah.
Or what's the hipster?
No, what it is it's a
I'm an old
hot
person.
take. It's a hot take.
Yeah.
It's not going to make you emo. It might make you somewhat of like a shitlord or an edgelord, but I mean, really, it's just like your opinion, man.
Yep.
Thanks, dude.
I like your style, dude. I hate that movie. Psych.
I about pooped my dick.
David, why don't you start us off?
Why do I have to start us off?
Fine, then I will.
You go for it.
Here we go. Are you ready for this? Everybody loves Avatar. I fucking hate it. I think it's a big, overpriced, blockbuster piece of shit. I think that everybody, went overboard with it.
Yeah.
And not only that, but it was the things that happened, after the movie came out, how people were like, I want to commit suicide so I could be reborn in the Avatar world. This is a real thing that happened.
Seriously?
This isn't The Onion. People were doing this. I just want to paint my skin blue so then people know that I'm a peace-loving blah, blah, blah.
I mean, people were showing that they were peaceful long before giant blue aliens were on screen.
What's wrong with your face?
I saw it several times in theaters. I think I was just swept up in the Avatar mania. But never once since have I thought, I should watch Avatar right now.
James Cameron is gonna make like 8 more of
Yeah,
them.
and they're making like Disneyland or Disney World or some theme park. They're overhauling with Avatar shit. Like what, 10 years after the fact?
Probably-
Yeah,
actually, I
it's-
think
it's
probably
been
more than 10
Quite
years.
a while,
It's like, do they like it still that much?
I guess. I mean,
That they don't need sequels either. Like it was a phenomenon.
2009.
Oh,
2020 is when the next one is going to come out.
wow. Just don't. What do they think
James
they're gonna make?
Cameron wants to make that fat stack of cash.
I don't know why. He's already made a fat stack of cash.
No kidding.
Like, so many times.
Another one of James Cameron, I believe, is Titanic.
Titanic, yep. James
and I
Cameron did Titanic.
never watched that one. Never had the desire to watch that one.
Yeah.
I saw it in the theaters when I was at the tender age of 13, I believe. Is when it came out.
Were you bored to death?
No, I was actually obsessed with the Titanic when I was a kid. I was
Oh.
really big into the ship.
Yeah.
Like, I knew, like, the schematics for it and everything. I had, like, this giant, thick book. It was just, like, Titanic stuff.
It'd be a little bit before you were 13 because you're a little bit older than me, but
Yeah.
still, because you're 33 right now. I'm
Yeah.
33. Came out in 1997, so we would have been
4.
no,
You would have been 4.
we would have been what? Because
9.
1999 was 13. So yeah,
Anyway,
because I remember.
I wanted to go see it, not because of the Titanic stuff. Like, yes, I wanted to see that stuff. Because that's what I thought the movie was actually going to be
Like
about.
a documentary,
Yeah. But
not a love story.
PG-13 titties.
Ooh, yeah.
That was great.
Yep.
I loved it. It made me... It gave me so much spank bank material when I was that young.
I just remember that Celine Dion had the "My Heart Will Go On," and that's back when MTV had actual music videos, and so that was on like Carson Daly's top 10 for
Oh, yeah.
months.
On Total
And-
Request Live.
Yep,
Whoa,
TRL.
flashback.
I'm on TRL. Look how many hugs I get. Eminem.
Poor Eminem, like, he made that, and then nobody knows what Total Request Live is anymore.
I thought it was a Total Recall reference, to be quite honest. Like, what's the L mean?
Total Recall, the...
Now here's one that I actually watched in theaters with my wife, and she wasn't. Because I can like.
Was it Mother?
No. I can watch and like almost any movie.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I didn't not like this movie, but I didn't understand all the buzz. It wasn't a great movie. It was basically like an episode of Law and Order, just on a big film.
These are their stories.
Gone Girl.
Is that the one with...
All I know is that Trent Reznor and Atticus Finch did the soundtrack for it, and the soundtrack is amazing.
Who's in that?
That is Ben Affleck. What's his name from?
Pretty much the reason why it was such a big deal is because of the book, and then like it was pretty much like something that just happened in the media that was pretty much the same thing as what was happening in the movie.
Neil
So
Patrick
that's-
Harris.
Neil Patrick Harris. There we go. I was going to say from How I Met Your Mother. I just can't think of his name. And I mean, like I said, not a terrible movie, but it just the hype that it received as being this amazing movie. I mean, just like the Twilight movies.
Wasn't that
And
the
all-
movie where like the daughter went missing and they all think
No,
it was
his wife.
dad?
And
No,
then-
it's his
the
wife.
Everybody thought he killed his wife, but she went into hiding, and then
Spoiler alert.
it's been out for
So it's classic
2014.
Who Done It.
But then she makes it look like Neil Patrick Harris killed her because her husband found out that she was actually alive. So then she had to spin the story to not faking her death, but that he made it look like she had died and wanted to keep her.
It's
buried
actually
away.
a trilogy of books, so I mean, there's more to the story.
Gone Girl 2, Get Going.
Get Gone.
Get gone. Gone Girl 3. Girl Gone Get.
And speaking of, since I just mentioned it, but all the Twilight movies, I don't want my vampires to sparkle.
You see,
I enjoy
know
my-
if I watch those movies, I'll hate them, but I know that they weren't made for me to enjoy.
No, but I love, and I know we've talked about this before. I love vampires.
I think I might be the
I
only
enjoy the
person
lore behind it.
in the room that's actually seen all the Twilight films and owns them on Blu-ray.
Was it good?
No,
Ish? No?
because of my ex-wife. But beyond that, like, I read the books when they came out. My sister had, like, all 4 of them. So I was like, oh, I guess I'll read it. I need something to do. I don't think I was working at the time. So I had a lot of free time on my hands.
Yeah.
And I knocked out all 4 books in 2 days.
I heard that they're really elementary, easy read.
They are very, very basic. The characters, like, the way that they describe the characters, it really makes it really easy for you to put yourself in that foot.
Yeah.
So then it's like, oh, I could be Bella. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Bell, yeah, or something, I don't know.
I don't know. It's
It
something.
is.
Oh, okay. Ooh, I could be Bella, and oh, I want my own Edward, my own Jacob. Oh, and I could just think of my best friends. Oh, or the guys I think are cute as my Jacob and my Edward. So, I mean, like, it's really basic, though. There were really cool things that they lightly touched upon. I wish that maybe they had gone with that, because there were, like, ancient Egyptian vampire dudes. They had done nothing for years, but they were, like, super powerful, but they just sat in their chairs for years, like just waiting, doing nothing because there's nothing to do, and they are, like, starting to turn to dust.
Oh, wow. It's kind of cool.
There were some really cool things about it, but the main story was absolute trash.
Yeah.
And see,
And
that's why I enjoy the lore of, like, vampires and vampirism and stuff like that. And that's why I really like the Sookie Stackhouse series, because, I mean, they have they have a lot of underlying tones of what, you know, were the main staples of, like, Dracula and stuff like that. I mean, they incorporate a ton of mythology. Like, they have Maenads, which are, like, I think a Greek, basically almost demigod that can't be killed.
Yep.
And they have demons. They have fairies, but not. I mean, they make
Fae.
the Fae is what it's called in the books, and they even talk about the actual devil, but they don't. You don't actually see him because he's not real. Apparently, his coming would be a lot bigger event than just like a normal devil.
It wouldn't be just like, hey.
It wouldn't just be like, hey, something's happening in Louisiana. It'd be like a world event.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that all the supernatural beings.
So
would
then,
know.
and then 40 people would have to team together and fight him.
If there's anything Satan is, it's a showman.
Yeah, but I enjoy that kind of showmanship of having that nice.
40-man boss raid world event.
Yeah, yep.
So Twilight is no Nosferatu.
No, it is not.
But here's the thing, though. Like, it wasn't made for us. It was made for teenage girls.
Yeah, and
I know, but
okay
I
with-
can
or
still like the movies, but they're
women-
just.
yeah, there's
Women
no-
in their
nothing
mid
to 'em.
20s to late 40s that need that outlet. It was like the really soft entrance to mommy porn.
Or,
Because like if you look at like
the gateway
50
to
Shades of
50
Gay,
Shades of Grey.
Yeah,
I just said 50 Shades of Gay.
that's a whole different book.
But 50 Shades of Grey, I've read the first book, and that was it, because it was just terrible. But originally it was written as a fan fiction about Twilight, and then she just changed the names, and there you go. Because it's
Piles
supposed to
and
be
piles of money.
Bella and Edward doing
BDSM.
terrible, terrible BDSM that is not representative of the BDSM community. I just need to put that out there because people read those books and they're like, oh, I can't wait to get whipped and violated. And it's like, no, that's not how it
Some
works.
people are into that.
I mean, yeah, that's fine. But that's not how it works. You don't just sign a waiver and somebody gets to torture your body until you run away. It's like, no, they're soft
Some people
limits.
just want to get tied up and have mashed potatoes thrown at them.
I like being tied
Brady.
up, but I'm not
Brady.
really big into
No
the
comment.
mashed potatoes. I like mashed carrots.
Aim for my mouth. All right, I'll go. I'll save my biggie for last.
Coup de grace.
I think that's a good idea.
Green Room. The movie came out last year starring Sir Patrick Stewart and the dead guy from the new Star Trek movies.
Anton.
LaVey.
Anton,
No, that's the Satanist guy.
Anton Yelchin.
That's it.
And my friend Brock hyped this movie up so hardcore. It's like, oh, this is the most brutal, stressful
The only
movie
thing I wanted
ever.
to watch in that movie was
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart as the head of a Nazi.
Of course, Patrick Stewart was incredible.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's hyping up like, oh, the people can't finish this movie because it's so gruesome and stressful. And then I watch it, it's like, it's kind of stressful, but it's just like a band in a room and they won't let them out, and somebody has a gun, and it's not that good.
I remember it being hyped up as a super ultra gore.
Yeah, and
film.
it wasn't.
I mean, you watched Antichrist,
And I love that movie.
and that's like beyond gory, and I won't ever watch it.
Yeah. But there was, I forget the other movie, like these, like missionaries go to the Amazon and then they run into a cannibal group. I forget what, Green something. And that was a brutal, disgusting torture movie.
Cannibal Holocaust?
Yeah, it's the sequel to the new reimagining of it.
I didn't know that they did a...
I don't know why you'd ever want to. That got banned in so many countries.
Yeah, because they thought it was real.
We watched the
animals,
unedited, unbanned version, and it's... Yeah, the worst part is actual animal.
Yeah, because the animals that were killed in that were actually killed, but they thought that the humans were also actually killed, because I think the director for that, he either got arrested shortly after the film was done or got killed shortly after it was done.
He didn't get killed. He had to... There was like so many court cases because of it. And he had to like bring in the actors and be like, they're alive, they're real.
Yeah.
That's a movie.
I mean, it's not a good movie, and the remake isn't good either. It's just shock value.
Yeah.
But the Green Room, I was thinking, it was like, oh, is it going to be that level of gore? It's like, there's hardly any gore. It just, I watched it and I'm like, that kind of sucked. Patrick Stewart was great. He cannot not be great.
I mean, like, he's great in everything he does. And this isn't me just, like, sucking Sir Pat Stew's dick.
He's just a fantastic actor.
You throw him into American Dad, and he's fucking great.
Open the door.
I mean, you can throw him in anything, and he's going to do a really great job with it, because he's a classically trained, literally a classically trained actor, not like Robert Englund, who's like, oh, I'm a classically trained actor, too. I did Shakespeare in college.
Like, good for you, pal.
Good for you. Go back to being Freddy Krueger and shut up.
But I don't think Green Room was like huge. Like, oh, it's the greatest movie of all time.
I never watched it just because I heard the gore factor.
People sing its praises. I'm like,
I remember.
I think it blows.
Me and you were like, oh man, I really want to see this movie, because the way that like everybody hyped it up to be this ultra insane, like, oh, edge of your seat movie. And I was like, I love it.
It had moments of it, but it was way overhyped. Like, they got your money and they, like, oh,
they ran.
Not what we were telling you it was.
Here's a Patrick Stewart movie, though, that is a little bit under the radar. Very good, though. I know we're not saying movies that we like, but, you know, whatever.
Yep. Dune?
No.
Because he's in Dune.
Is he?
Yeah.
Makes me actually like Dune now.
He's the guy.
There's one. I hate Dune.
How?
Well, we'll get to that one in a second.
We will.
Anyway, so the movie is Match. He plays, I'll just read the little, as a Juilliard professor is interviewed by a woman and her husband for her dissertation on the history of dance in 1960s New York, it becomes increasingly clear that there are ulterior motives to the couple's visit. And basically it just comes out that the guy who plays Shaggy and Scooby-Doo in the newer renditions.
Matthew Lillard.
Yes.
I just wanted to go Scooby diving. Sorry, he was in the new Twin Peaks, and he was hilarious, and he had this great line that was just like, we just wanted to go scuba diving, and everybody took that and ran with it on like a shit posting board I'm on for Twin Peaks, and they were like Scooby diving, and I was just like, oh, this is so great.
But it's just speaks to his ability, because it's just one of those great movies. It's all about the dialogue. There's no real action. It's just interviews, because the guy, that Matthew Lillard, whatever, thinks that Patrick Stewart is his dad, because I think he's bisexual or just whatever. You know, he doesn't really have a preference. He just is kind of 1960s values of whatever his is.
Fuck it, man. I'll do whatever.
And so, I mean, it's
Does
full
it
of
move? I'm putting my dick in it.
And so he thinks that Patrick Stewart is his dad. Won't ruin the ending or anything, but it's really good. Just a lot of great emotion, and just proves Patrick Stewart's power at just being able to captivate you, just with even explaining being a dancer in the 1960s.
I remember I'd wanted to see that as well.
It's on Netflix. At least it used to be. I don't know if it still is, but
Netflix
if you can watch
changes
it,
their shit out so much.
yes, they do. But if you can watch it, watch Match. It is amazing, worth your time.
Check it out. Whenever
But now we'll go on to Dune, where I don't know if it's just because it's an older movie that I just can't get into because of the funny CG that's in it.
Okay, here's the thing.
But I just
Dune is a bad movie. It's
control the spice.
It's a bad movie, but it's a great movie. It's one of the. It should have been on our last podcast. Like, movies so bad that you love them. Like, it's David Lynch trying to think of Dune, and he does this crazy job at it. And like every single one of his troupe is in the movie. So like Ray Wise, blah blah blah. But Sir Patrick Stewart's in it, and he plays the person who trains Paul Atreides. See, here's the thing. Like, I love Dune. I love Frank Herbert's Dune. I like the movies that were done, or I guess they were mini-series that were done by Sci-Fi under the Artisan flag. Those were great films, but Lynch's Dune is so ridiculous, and it's awful, but it's great. Like, I've put that movie on repeat for a whole day and just sat there and watched it over and over, like 2.5 hours of it. It's fun. I have it on Blu-ray. You want to watch it right now?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not.
I'll put it in my PS4.
I do not.
Oh!
And I don't because I enjoy science fiction. I can't.
A
get
lot
into
of
that
people
one for,
hate that movie,
for,
though, so it really doesn't belong on this list.
but a lot of people love it.
It's
Is it cult?
David Lynch fans love it and hate it because it's arguably David Lynch's worst movie.
Is it the Dark Souls of David Lynch movies?
It is the Dark Souls and maybe even the Bloodborne of David Lynch movies. David Lynch here. I want you to see my movie, Dune. It's the Dark Souls of film-based book adaptations. If you could go see it, that would be great. Thank you all, Twitter friends.
Don't watch it on a fucking phone.
Don't watch it on a phone, or else I'll murder you. That was my David Lynch impersonation.
Spot on. Who's next?
You. Because I
Alright.
can't think of anything right now.
Fifth Element.
That's crazy.
I hate it.
See, I like that one.
I love it.
Because I love Bruce Willis, and I love my word. I
It's
never
like
remember
so
any names.
quotable.
Jovovich.
No, I do not love Mila Jovovich.
Yeah, you do. You love seeing her boobies in every single movie that she does.
Okay, as like a whenever that movie came out, as a small kid, sure, I thought it was great that you almost saw a naked girl on TV, but
It didn't save it.
I mean, like,
Didn't save it.
you know what, though? You could look at a guy with his shirt off and probably see more boobs.
Yeah.
I could take my shirt off and you're going to see some really nice cans. Compared to Mila, I've got, like, gazongas.
But I don't
Biggins.
know, I don't know what it is about the movie because I know it's not a bad movie. It's just something about it. I don't like watching it.
It's a pretty crazy film. That's why I like it. It's just so out there.
Yeah.
Plus, it's like super quotable. Like,
Is it?
so
to me
that
it
came
is.
out in 1997.
To me, it's like super quotable. Like, I'm not a meat popsicle.
Yabba dabba doo yabba deebie deebie dabba.
Sure.
I mean, as far as Bruce Willis movies go, it's one of his weaker ones, but I still like it.
Now you're gonna shit on Hudson Hawk. It's the one that everybody forgets about because it is kind of bad. Pretty much, he plays a thief, and the whole opening sequence is them singing, "Do you ever put a wish on a star? Then you might as well be a pig." Whatever. But, like, that's their timing for the robbery instead of, like, using a watch. It's weird. Go watch it. You're gonna hate it, but go watch it, because I like it. I mean, but that's me.
But I also hate. I forget that black guy's name in it. The super high pitched voice one.
Chris Tucker.
Yeah. Hate his voice. I can't stand it.
He does play a very odd character in that
He
movie.
plays
But Gary
a
Oldman
super-
also plays a super weird character, but he does it so well.
Yeah.
And the
Gary
movie
Oldman.
just feels loose. It doesn't feel like a tight movie. It just kind of feels like it's
Who directed that?
thrown together.
Or wrote it? Was it...
Director is Luc Besson, but it's spelled L-U-C, so I'm not sure.
I like Gary Oldman's character though. I just like Gary Oldman. He's a
Because,
good
like,
actor.
for some reason, I always thought that was like a Terry Gilliam film because it's kind of weird. But then again, like, for some reason, I always get that and 12 Monkeys confused.
Yeah.
I think it's because they both have Bruce Willis. Except for one's like a really crazy time travel film
That's awesome.
with Brad Pitt, and then the other one's like
A futuristic
crazy film with
about
Bruce
a taxi
Willis.
driver. Isn't he a taxi driver?
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
taxi driver. He just gets suckered into carrying the fifth element. I think for me, the reason I loved it is because like it had lots of cool visuals for when it came out, like '97. You said it came out, so I remember like watching them like put her together, all of like the little pieces like going together like of her skeleton and stuff. I thought it was really cool. I don't know, for some reason like I just like that movie a lot. I don't know, I can't explain it. Probably just because little kid me liked it, so I like it now.
Yeah.
Here's one from a little kid. Extraterrestrial, or E.T.
What? You don't like
I-
E.T.?
I could never get into that. I
know,
never
I-
watched it as a kid. Or I watched it as a kid and I didn't care for it.
I'm just kind of in. I just don't care about it.
so good.
Like, I'm glad that people gained so much inspiration and became filmmakers because of that movie. And yeah, Steven Spielberg's really great, but I could go one way or the other. Like, I don't really give a shit. I don't have any desire to ever watch E.T.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the Atari game. If it got buried in the desert, I wouldn't care.
I just love Spielberg movies. Anything he does, I'll watch, except The Big Fucking Giant and the new Ready Player One.
Yeah, fuck that movie.
So dumb.
Everybody's all like, I like it because it has stuff I recognize.
I know that thing.
I know it. And I guess that's how, like, the book's written. I just never want to touch that thing with the fucking 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
Here's a movie that everybody seems to fucking love and I hate. Resident Evil. The
Yep.
whole fucking franchise can eat my
I
asshole.
was gonna say that one too. They're terrible.
Fucking god awful. They didn't follow the games at all.
Well, that's
They
always
never
a,
do.
A
I mean,
bad Hollywood problem is like, oh, you think you can make a story? Video game makers, we're Hollywood.
Like,
Out of our way.
were those
We'll
Uwe
fix
Boll
this.
movies?
They could have been. They weren't though.
Blood Rain was Uwe Boll,
Yeah.
and that one was even worse.
Yeah.
But
No
that
one
one's
loves
like
his
all
movies.
around. Everybody hates it. Yeah,
They're terrible.
I love that he boxed people.
And he won.
You think I'm bad? Come fight me. I'll fly you to Germany. Then he beat the shit out of him. Like one of them was like a 17-year-old kid.
Yep.
It was great.
Yeah, I don't get any of the draw towards those movies.
Me neither. Same thing with the Underworld. I don't like it. I think it's a bloated piece.
Well, every movie's like the Underworld ones are all dark. It's like everyone's in leather and it's constantly night. I'm like, this fucking sucks.
The primary colors in that movie are black and blue.
Yeah.
And that's it. I hope you really like those two colors together because that's all you're seeing. David, do you want to weigh in?
Do you
I
like
think you
Resident Evil?
like Resident Evil or
I don't mind Underworld. At least the first one. I don't.
KJ made me watch all of them. She made me watch.
See, I would rather watch Underworld than Resident Evil, but that doesn't mean I like it.
Oh, she wants me to watch all of those with her too because
Yeah, the Resident Evil ones are hard because, I mean, sure, if you follow the Resident Evil games, they get kind of crazier and crazier as you go along.
oh yeah, they progressively got worse all
But
the way up
it's-
until 7.
The first one, the first two, could have made
I would say
amazing
even
movies.
Up to 3 because
3
I
are Code
liked
Veronica.
Nemesis.
So I mean, you're talking like 4,
Yeah,
and even Resident Evil 4.
no, because Resident Evil 4 was such a change in the.
It was, but I mean, you could
Paradigm.
still. That one is kind of on the fence. That's the one that
Sorry.
most people love out of all the Resident Evil games.
Trying to make a vape sound shield, but it won't work.
But yeah, Resident Evil, I remember that was like one of the first movies when I used to pirate. I got that one and was like, oh yeah, it's going to be so great.
I bought
was
it on
not.
DVD.
It was not great.
I was an idiot.
Was the
But,
first
like, I was
one any
like-
good of the Resident Evil
It was
movies?
not.
It
Because it started out that the only thing that was
the mansion.
remotely, was that there was a mansion, and somehow I don't even know how she got there, but she wound up naked, wound up in a clear plastic shower curtain.
She's dead, wrapped in plastic. Wait, this isn't Twin Peaks.
So I don't
No.
know, but no, I don't like
It's-
any of the Resident Evil.
It's really
movies.
bad.
bad.
Like,
They're awful.
and I remember, I was so excited to see him, and then the first one came out, and I was like, I'm never buying another movie in this entire thing.
I just remember that it was all the rage on, because I was playing Counter-Strike at the time, and I remember everybody talking about it, like, oh, hey, you could see me, Jovovich, naked. And that was, the only thing that everybody talked about. So I'm going to say some Christmas movies,
Oh, snap.
since we're coming up on that season.
Yep.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, fuck that movie.
I could never
Oh my god,
I could never get into that.
it's perfect.
What?
It's an amazing movie.
The movie makes me want to barf.
So good.
I could just never ever get into it. And then A Christmas Story.
Oh my god.
I love that movie.
I hate that movie. Ever since I was a kid, and TNT would play it 24 hours a day,
Yes.
and then it
Yep.
didn't matter because there's nothing to watch on TV. You just keep on flicking, and all of a sudden you've watched the film 7
Yeah.
times in the day as you're flicking
when
through
I
every
was
channel.
at my parents' house for Christmas, that's the only thing we watch is all day is
Yep.
Christmas Story.
I hate
Back
that movie.
when, back when,
I wish that kid would shoot his eye out with the red BB gun.
back when I used to, have a family to go
Stupid
see Christmas
Ralphie.
stuff with, we would watch that the whole time. I loved it. I still love it. I try to watch it at least once a year.
So good.
The only part I do like is when he tells his mom that he heard it from his friend, and then you just hear on the phone like she's
He's
just
beating him.
smacking her kid. He's like, why am I getting hit now?
I think it's really funny when he's beating the shit out of a redhead guy, and he's all like, frickin', 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 frickin',
Yep.
frickin', frickin', frickin',
Every
frickin'.
cuss word I've ever heard my dad say.
So good.
Now,
Like-
there are some good Christmas movies. Like, every year, my wife and I sit down in our bed and we watch Home Alone,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is a great Christmas movie,
Wonderful.
and then I watch Die Hard several
I
times.
mean, yeah, Die Hard is a
good.
Christmas film, so.
It is.
Like it or not, it is.
Here's one that a lot of people, and I think this might be more of a cult following. I don't know. You can say yes or no to, but I could not. I bought it on Blu-ray because it was at the half price bookstore, and I was like, $5 for this great, pillar of a movie that everybody talks about, and they show scenes and all these science, like History Channel's Universe, and they'll talk about it, reference it. But 2001: A Space Odyssey, I could not get into it at all. And I hate that because I wanted to love it so much because I love outer space.
I'll take that Blu-ray off your hands.
It's already gone.
It's not a cult following. It's a huge thing with cinephiles, especially because
Like Michael Bolton.
of I don't know who that is.
Michael Bolton.
Oh,
singer.
Michael Bolton. I thought you said Woolton. I was like, who
Michael
the fuck's
Bolton.
Michael Wooten?
Sorry, I just am not enunciating very well.
This
Michael
is the tale
Bolton.
of Captain Jack Sparrow. Yeah, maybe like Michael Bolton. A lot of it is because of the groundbreaking cinematography that he did in that movie. Because it's insane. Like, all that stuff is miniatures, but then, like, the way he recorded the anti-grav scenes are perfect.
That's from 60s, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2001: A Space Odyssey, my dad showed it to me when I was young. I think that's why I love it so much, because, like, it was the first time I'd ever seen something that intense and just thought-provoking and
Something that
mind-altering
wasn't
almost.
meant more for
I think my problem
kids.
is because something like
For
the
younger
first,
people.
half an hour, 45 minutes, there's no dialogue.
Yeah.
And
It's
so
wonderful.
that's really hard for me because I need some kind of structure. I don't need, because then my mind just starts wandering and I don't. Unless,
The thing that most people can't handle in that movie is the 12 minutes of silence when he's out in space and he's doing like a spacewalk, and there's no sound at all.
Yeah.
That scene is like the most integral part of the movie, though, because it shows that humans can't survive without tools. That's pretty much what the whole movie was based on. All the way from the beginning, it showed the apes, and then they used the bones as tools. And then we kept using tools, and then Hal became a tool that we used, but then it turned against us.
Yeah.
And then there's the whole crazy shit about the Star Child and everything else. But that's besides the point. I like it. I think it's a great film, but I can understand why people don't like it because...
And I think that is my
It
real
can
only
be
hitch with it,
boring.
is that not because it's boring, because, I mean, there's some great, like you said, cinematography. It's just that I need some kind of structure.
Yeah.
Just, if my mind is left to wander, then I totally am off.
You're not into it
Yeah,
anymore.
not into it anymore, and I can't, what just happened, I wasn't paying attention, and then...
Yeah, it's definitely a movie that you have to plan your day around.
Yeah, I've tried watching it, and every
You
time
don't just sit down
I
and go,
fell asleep.
I think I'm going to watch 2001: A Space Odyssey.
That's exactly what I did, and I'm like, well, I got like 3 hours before bed. I'm gonna watch this, and then it's beautiful shots of space and stuff with orchestral music, and I'm like, I'm going to fall asleep in like 3 seconds. I can't help it. I wanted to watch it. It's so relaxed.
It's a movie you definitely have to
Yeah.
prepare for. You got to be like, all right, this is the day I'm going to watch it. I'm going to be wide awake. Nobody's going to be home. I'm going to be able to blare my stereo super fucking loud. I mean, if you have a surround sound system, I've had one since I was a kid.
Yeah.
If you don't have one, get on it.
I watch movies with my headset.
I guess for me, a film that everybody loves that I hate is another Stanley Kubrick film, and it's The Shining. I think it's a pile of garbage.
I like it as a I don't even think of it as The Shining. I just like it as a kind of scary movie. But once I have to put it in the realm of Stephen King, then I don't like it.
Doesn't he
But if I just put it on...
blow a bear or something? Sexual act happened with a bear?
No, it's like a guy who's in a bear costume, and
Oh.
he's blowing a dude.
Oh, okay.
It's just... I don't even know what the semblance behind that is, because
they
it's
put
not
that
even
in
a fucking book.
Did they put that in the trailer?
Well, there's tons of stuff. There's tons of stuff in the movie that weren't in the book.
Yeah, like they really, 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 like even Stephen King totally says that movie's pure garbage,
Yeah.
and I have to agree with them. And I've watched it a million times, and each time I'm just like, I don't get the concept. I don't see what the big deal is. Like, okay, that's really cool that the hotel is constantly changing orientation and they're moving the set around, so then everything's like an impossible way to film shit. I think it's really cool that they did all that stuff with the moving sets and making it an impossible orientation where it's like there's no reason why there should be a window in that office, in the beginning, because the way that they went around is it's an inland like office, but then it has like an outward facing window, and like I think that stuff is cool and all, but like it's just right from the beginning. I mean, like Jack Nicholson, he looks fucking crazy in the book. Like Jack Torrance didn't start off crazy. It was a gradual thing that happened. I don't know. I could bitch about this movie all day, but people are still gonna suck its dick and be
And
like,
with a
"This is
director
so good."
with a director like Kubrick, there's no way you're gonna tie him down to source material of anything. He's gonna make something in his vision.
I mean, I think all three of us have a Kubrick movie that we hate.
Yep.
Because you hate
Clockwork Orange.
Boom.
See, I do too, but that's just because of the content matter. I don't
Glorifying
enjoy...
rapists.
Yeah, I don't...
It's terrible.
It's a fucking hot piece of trash.
Even the guy who wrote the book is like, this book was garbage, and I only wrote it because my publisher demanded that I write something, so I threw this together in like a month.
Like, I'm okay with people liking it, but I think it's terrible.
Fucking awful.
Name a YouTube channel that's done like top 10
Movies.
movies of horrible content, and even watching not even the actual scenes, but just like the scenes leading up to and the content that you know is going to happen. And I can't stomach that. Like, I had the hardest time getting through the original, or not the original, not the French version, but the American version of A Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and that was rough. I mean, that was even...
Don't ever watch...
that was even the tame version from the French version.
Yeah.
Don't ever watch The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah, I don't... Rob Zombie movies, besides...
The Devil's Rejects. The worst movie I ever saw with a group of my ex-fiance and one of my old best friends. And we're all sitting in this room watching The Devil's Rejects. There's like this terrible rape scene happening, and we're all just kind of looking around like...
Yeah.
What are we supposed to do? Like, I'm not gonna watch this, but I'm so uncomfortable.
Yeah, me and
I
my friend
never
John,
felt so uncomfortable in a living room before.
Me and my friend John were watching that, and that scene started, and just the two of us, we'd pulled an all-nighter, like playing Halo 2. Like, sure, this is like a spoopy, gross murder movie.
Yeah.
And then it just got really quiet.
Yep.
And I look over and I was like, "Do you want to keep watching this?" He's like, "No." Okay. It's terrible.
It's bad.
Like most Rob Zombie movies, I don't care
Oh,
for.
they are.
Oh, they're all
I
terrible,
don't-
except for
The Michael Myers Halloween.
the Michael Myers Halloween was actually really fucking good.
And that even had... Like, that was... Because, I mean, we watched that together, and that
Yep.
had a rape scene in it, and that was...
Yeah, but it was
I'm not sure. I think Rob Zombie might have a thing for...
Yeah. You think?
Hell yeah, I'm the one that you want.
That kind of ties in with our topic. I hate all remakes of the early 80s slasher movies.
I mean,
The originals were fucking
oh yeah, because
awesome.
you know that remake of Nightmare on Elm Street where they fucking made him a pedophile.
Well, it was, is he or isn't he at least murdered them in the first series.
Yeah,
And then,
but they made him like a true fucking pederast.
yeah, which he isn't supposed to be. Freddy, you're supposed to like him because he's like, yeah, kill us fucking teens. But now that if he's a pedophile, it's like,
Scary Terry.
yeah.
Bitch. One-time bitch.
Like, no, he's a big cartoon character and it's fun.
Yeah, and instead they
Nope, he's a
really
pedophile.
demonized it. And when I was done with it, I was just like,
Yeah.
I don't like this movie. It was
I
awful.
saw that in the theater and I'm like, you know what? This lore that this movie's putting on us, to me, in my mind, never happened. He's just a creepy guy that killed kids, which is... That's
still,
not good either.
Still
but
just as bad,
he's
but
not a
I mean...
pedophile.
I mean, it's almost more forgivable than raping kids.
Yeah.
Because rape is
Never okay.
the worst thing I think you could do. I think it's the absolute most horrific, disgusting thing humans can do.
That or slavery.
Yeah, that's pretty bad too, I guess.
Which is basically the same thing, just sometimes without the sexual...
yeah.
Raping them for
I mean,
their
but
effort.
then usually slave owners would rape
Yeah,
their...
true. Thomas Jefferson. Founding father.
I was ready to say Thomas Jefferson
But
as well, my friend.
Clockwork Orange.
Yes, let's get
beyond,
back on this.
Beyond the rapiness, I just didn't like the pace. I didn't like the dumb art house set pieces. Like, oh, they're in a milk bar. Dumb.
It's so
there's
awful.
so much I dislike about it.
What about all the stupid language where it's all like, oh, it's a bit ultra violence, but it's just fucking bad.
It's just not good. I've had my friend Brock. It's his favorite movie of all time.
Why?
I don't know. I can't, like, I want someone else that isn't him that I don't know to explain why they like it to me.
See, here's the thing.
So if you're listening to this and post on our Facebook page, tell me why you like it. Don't try to get me to like it. Just say what it does for you.
Yeah, what is it about that movie
Yeah.
that you find so damn appealing? Because I remember watching it because when Siskel died in Siskel and Ebert, it was like his #1 film.
And Ebert destroyed it.
Yeah.
He hated a movie.
And I remember, well, like, I always kind of agreed with Siskel's picks. Like, I was always, like, more online with that. So me and my friend Brandon were like, well, man, we really got to see this movie. It's going to be really good. And then we watch it, and I'm just, like, bored most of the time, yawning. And I'm like, why are those girls eating suckers that look like dicks? Why is he pounding a giant dick sculpture into a woman's crotch? What is happening? Why is this?
Yeah. And when I finished watching it, I went up, looked at reviews, and almost all of them were shining, and, oh, this is great. And then Like, somebody's got to agree with me. And then Ebert hated it. I'm like, validation. He's one of the most prolific movie reviewers there is. Everybody knows him.
But he
rescinded it, I think. He watched it. He's like, I was watching it with different eyes. Now I like it. It's like, no. Don't follow the herd.
mean, he made validation the dolls,
rescinded.
though.
Yeah. No, I'm on an island.
I'm an original thinker.
Yeah. No one's as smart as me.
Don't worry. I don't really enjoy it. David doesn't enjoy it. I think we're all kind of synonymous on that. And I know that everybody that listens to this will probably post, how can you hate this movie? Like, and somebody needs to tell me what the great thing about it is.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that it's supposed to be over the top. I understand that it's supposed to be this thing where it's like, this guy did a bunch of terrible, terrible shit, and then he got, like, reformed into, like, something to where if he tried to do something, it would affect him negatively and hurt him.
Yeah.
Like, I get all that shit, and I get, like, kind of, like...
And eventually, doesn't he just go back to his old ways?
I can't remember.
I believe so. I think that's the gist of it, that even through all his...
That we're inherently
reformation, that he still is the same person he always was, no matter whatever kind of conditioning they try to impose on him.
The only thing I ever liked about that movie was the fact that they put swords and canes. I was like, man, I want a sword cane.
It's cool.
It's neat. That's the only thing I like about that movie.
I'm trying to think, like, maybe I just don't like Kubrick, but there's... What's the war movie he did? Full Metal Jacket?
Full Metal Jacket,
Yeah.
I think, is like one of the only Kubrick films I actually like.
Yeah.
And I only like the first half of it. That movie's essentially two movies.
Yeah, oh, for real. Yeah.
Because it's boot camp and then there's Vietnam. And boot camp's great. Vietnam is really great, but the last of that movie is just fucking trash. Like, I hate the whole thing where it's all like, oh, we're trying to find the sniper, and then they're all standing over her, and she's all like, kill me, and they're all like saying like super like tasteless shit, and then they just march away singing Mickey Mouse. Like, I was like, what the fuck? This movie opened like a fucking prize winner and ended like I wanted to fucking take a nap.
I think it's supposed to show the horrors of war, and it fucks you up, and that these were kids still fighting this war. That
I completely agree.
Fighting.
And kudos to Kubrick for putting the homosexuality that does happen.
Yeah.
When you put a bunch of men together and keep them secluded from women, it happens. It happens in prisons. It happens in the army as well. That was pretty groundbreaking. I feel horrible for saying groundbreaking so many times in this stupid podcast.
It broke new ground.
It broke new ground because these are movies that we all clearly disdain, except for maybe Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about it.
I like it. I like the... Because if I'm thinking of the right one, is it progressively gets darker and darker, like the actual light that he allows into the film. So it just kind of shows the descent from like the start of going into war and you're a normal human being, and then what you're asked to do kind of dehumanizes you, and then the movie kind of carries that tone of not having the light
that
in the beginning of the movie.
Apocalypse Now.
Okay, that's right. That's what
when
I was
he's
thinking of.
at one of the final scenes when he's talking to Marlon Brando, there's like almost no light. You can only see like the sheen of his war. That's my favorite Vietnam movie.
I've never watched
It's
it.
really weird, but it's
My
really,
dad loves it.
It's really good.
My dad loves it.
So which one is Full Metal Jacket? Is that the one with Willem Dafoe?
This is my rifle. This is my gun. Not Willem Dafoe. It's got
No, that's
Vincent
Platoon.
D'Onofrio.
Choke yourself.
Oh, that's
Vincent
right.
D'Onofrio as a young.
Yeah, where he gets hit with the soap.
Yep, soap in a sock.
Alabama
And then Arlie
Black
Ermey plays the gunnery sergeant.
Yep.
Sea. Yep.
I mean, but that was his job anyway.
Yeah, I like him.
Yep.
Another
I think they actually brought him on for that movie to coach the actor, and then they just
Yeah,
said, let's keep
that's
him,
exactly what happened.
because this was his job,
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, that's just how the Marines were.
Nadar.
were. Keyword is were.
Were.
They can't treat you like that anymore.
They still
They
teach you
still-
like shit, but just different kind of shit.
They can, just not as bad.
Yeah.
Plus, like, you get these tickets called stress tickets, where if they're pushing you to an extreme, you can say, hey, no. That way you don't fucking go Section 8 and blow your commanding officer's head off.
This is my rifle.
This is my
There are many
gun.
like it,
Oh,
but this one's mine. I can't remember what it's the Jake Gyllenhaal.
this
movie.
is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine. I will use my rifle. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know the whole thing.
We should
either.
just do a war movie episode now. 'Cause
We
now I'm
could.
thinking like Jughead. I really like that movie.
Jarhead.
Jughead.
Jughead.
Jughead. No,
That's
fuck
the-
that. Fuck those stupid reboots they're doing of a stupid comic
Archie's.
strip.
Hey, I love Riverdale. I think it's a great fucking show.
Meow. Don't care.
I know you don't. It's all right, though.
Yeah.
But two more Kubrick films. One I've never watched. Well, actually, both of them I haven't watched. One, a Lolita.
Oh, I would never watch that because it's about a pedophile.
So I think that's a standing theme, just like with the Rob Zombie, that they just these directors seem to have. I think it's kind of telling, just like
Yeah, is he
if
trying
we were
tell
to.
us something?
Well, Lolita is based off of a book.
Yeah,
for one.
but what I'm saying is that I mean, like, if we were to write stuff, what you write about and how you write kind of tells more about you than maybe even your subject matter.
I mean, I've got like 15 chapters of a book written, and it's all about strange fiction, crazy H.P. Lovecraft shit. There's absolutely no sex in it at all whatsoever. Because it doesn't belong.
Maybe he likes to write movies about the human experience and where sexually inclined animals who can always bang and try to always bang.
Why, what? No.
Man, you just don't get Kubrick.
Give me these other Kubrick films that you're about ready to bring up, besides Lolita.
So the other one was, and this one I just didn't watch because it was, part of that, we'll say hipster crowd or whatever. All the cool kids in high school were like, "Oh yeah, this is the greatest movie ever. You need to watch it. It's so cool." Oh, what movie? Dr. Strangelove.
Oh, actually, I fucking love that movie.
And
That
I-
movie's fucking awesome.
I just cannot. There's so much hype to it, and so much all the cool kids and all
I guess
all
I'm
these
a cool
people-
kid now.
all these people are like, "Yeah, you just need to watch it. And it's so great." And
That was
awesome,"
another movie that my
I
dad
just-
introduced to me that he's like, you're going to love this.
And so it just ruined it for me to be able to watch it and enjoy any of the.
I think
kinda groundbreaking-
you should just try to clear your mind of all that shit and just watch it. Because it's a fun film. It's insane, but it's a fun film. I think everybody should at least watch it once. What else?
Here's an easy
Those are the
one.
two that I had.
The entire new Transformers series.
I actually
They
like
make
those.
so much fucking money.
I like the first two.
They're still
Yeah,
making money,
the
and
first
so
two
they
are-
keep making them. Michael
Aren't
Bay
bad.
probably is able to gold plate his body
Oh yeah.
and be able to just like shed it off and then get it done every day for the rest of his life, and he's still
Was
gonna
it
have
the
enough money.
second movie where they had the two little racist robots?
Yes.
That one he wrote himself because it was the writer's strike going on, and so that's from his. It was his brainchild to have two very, very racist. Black
remember-
robots who couldn't read. They can't read. Fucking,
the
it
worst
makes me
part-
so mad.
The worst part is I went and saw the movie in the theater. I remember one of them dropping the N bomb. Oh, we can say because
with an A.
with an A at the end,
Not
and I was like,
PewDiePie and his hard R.
yeah, jeez. And I remember being like, did that just happen? Did that robot just say that? What the fuck?
You'd be way better off watching the animated one from the 80s with Orson Welles.
Orson Welles?
That's his last role ever. Was the Transformers movie.
Huh.
Yep.
Hot take.
No, honestly, like they're over budgeted garbage.
Yep. And I love the Transformers, and all I wanted was a good movie. We maybe got one and a half.
I think that's kind of when Shia LaBeouf started going a little bit crazy. So shortly after
like
that.
Shia. He's a cool guy.
I like
I
him
like
in his
him too.
movies. As a person, he's kind of an odd duck.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah,
not
he's
kind
a-
of. He's a
he's-
That's
super.
fine with me.
He's super weird.
They will not divide us. They will not divide us. Or maybe he will not divide us. Whatever. It's
Yeah.
his standing art project that got canceled because it's supposed to be for the whole entire term of Trump's presidency. It lasted
Well, you
like a
got
month.
you got to think how many weird people on that are that weird are there, and he just happens to be someone famous who's weird.
But he's no longer famous. Didn't you see his paper bag?
Oh, what to say? Just not famous?
Yeah.
I am not famous.
Well, yeah, because we know it's Shia LaBeouf in a paper bag.
I
on his
think
head.
the best art
This-
installment
the-
he ever did was when he sat down and he filmed himself watching every single one of his movies in a theater.
Yeah. That
And
was
he's
super
just
cool.
sitting there like cringing and being like, "Oh God, no, why?"
But I like a lot, like
But-
Eagle Eye.
but
I
then-
like that movie. I like
Holes.
I haven't ever watched Holes.
Holes is great.
What's the one that
Disturbia?
Disturbia is great?
I like that one.
What about Indiana Jones is the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull?
I like that. I like that one. AJ doesn't. See, I think that one's kind of the reverse, where a lot of people hate it, but I love
Yeah.
it because it's. I know once
It's not a
again,
religious relic.
it doesn't need to be religious. Why
Yeah.
does it have to always be a religious relic? It's
Because
something
all
that.
three previous Indiana Jones
Yes, but
movies
he
were
was searching for
religious relics.
antiquities.
He was searching for.
No, he was searching for things that were of great historical value.
I think
Don't
they might
argue
have-
And if aliens were coming down, that is huge historic value.
Don't argue with me about this.
Oh, I'm
Argue with
arguing.
my wife.
I'm arguing with you about
Because
it.
my wife will be able to fucking slam that hammer straight on your dick balls.
I think I should rewatch that because I mean, is it as good as the other three?
No.
But
It's
inside
pretty
the world-
fucking off.
Inside the realm of Indiana Jones, it's not any crazier than having the Ark of the Covenant
It's
melt
Lucas-
people's faces off.
George Lucas really fucked that movie. And he's just all like, up your budget, up your budget, up
Yeah.
your budget. Fuck you.
Well,
And the fucking gopher and the stupid fucking fridge thing.
was it Gopher?
Yeah, like the way the movie opens, like they have the Paramount Mountain, and then it fades out and it's like a gopher hill, and a gopher pops out. That's the way the movie
I don't
starts.
remember that.
And then he jumps into a fridge and the atom bomb goes off.
Yeah.
In the desert.
Oh, it's so bad.
I think one of my least favorite things is how much CG environment they used.
It was so,
When the first three was pretty much shot
Set
on either
builds.
an actual set or on location.
yep.
Like which one is it? The Holy Grail one. Is that the Last Crusade?
Yeah.
Yes.
When they went across that invisible bridge, that was an actual physical bridge that they hand painted to match the background.
Yep.
It's like, that's insane. I think that's more because of Spielberg's influence, and then Lucas came, did you see what I did with those Star Wars movies? CG. It's like, oh, no, don't.
Yeah,
Stop.
have you gone back and tried to watch those first three films anymore? They look like
They're timeless. I love them. They're perfect.
Are we talking the remasters or are we talking the originals?
1, 2, and 3.
Wait, Star Wars or Indy?
Star Wars.
Oh, okay, I thought you were
Are you
talking about
talking
Indiana Jones.
1, 2, 3 or 4, 5, 6?
1, 2, 3.
No,
1, 2, 3.
those ones
Phantom
don't-
Menace. Phantom Menace.
Those don't exist for me. It's just 4, 5, 6, 7.
I thought you were talking about Indiana Jones not looking good. I'm
No,
like,
no.
okay.
Indiana Jones looks wonderful.
I was about ready to
if
shit.
you go back and look at George Lucas's like CGI empire on
Poop all
number
over
1,
your
2, and
couch.
3.
Leave it there.
No, but if you go back and you look at those old Star Wars films like Episode 1, 2, and 3, I can't even watch them because it looks like horrible fucking
Yeah, it's
early or
The first-
late 90s pop art.
The first one I can get through because I enjoy Darth Maul, but that's about it.
He
Yeah.
has a double-edged lightsaber.
the Phantom Menace, I think, is the best of the three.
I don't like any of them. I can't like them. It's just
I don't mind them.
they're so bad.
I think it's more because those were the Star Wars I grew up with.
And
I was the target age of when they were coming out.
How the
Because they're
heck
kids' movies.
no? Do you know how many scenes are just them talking politics?
well, I
Not
know.
for kids.
Star Wars is supposed to be more for kids because it's supposed to be a fun, big adventure, but those
Yeah.
weren't.
Yeah, they were awful. I'm sorry. Everybody kind of like is in
So
agreement.
there's a big one for AJ. Star Wars.
1, 2,
He
and
hates
3.
all of them. All 7. Hates them all.
4, 5, and 6 are
Nope,
great.
you hate them all.
7
Five-
was.
Serenity's better than all three.
There we go.
I knew
You
I'd
want to
trigger him.
fucking jump on something? Everybody loves Firefly and everybody wants to suck that Serenity cock, and I think Firefly and Serenity are worst fucking things that have ever been made in the nature of sci-fi, and they should all be destroyed. I hate it so much that I hate the fucking main guy just because he was in it, and he always brings it up in everything
Nathan
that he's in.
Fillion.
Yeah, he's always talking about like, oh man, what about that great sci-fi western show? I wish they'd bring that back. Shut the fuck up. I'm surprised he hasn't fucking slipped it in somehow into Destiny while talking like Cade 6. Fuck you, you stupid fuck. I fucking hate him. I just fucking hate Firefly so fucking much. Ah.
Very eloquent in your delivery of.
Fuck Firefly.
Are we in Boondock Saints right now?
You know what would be really great is if...
What color was it? I would shoot myself if you could tell me.
What was its name?
What color was it? Everybody...
You know what would be really
people
great
hate
is
that movie too.
if you like find a beep sound effect and you try to beep out all my F's during that little rant.
Pass.
But you're not able to do it, so it's just like beep 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 beep, but it's just fuck.
I saw some still image from some BBC show where they edited out it was motherfucker, and they edited out mother but left fucker. So it would be like that.
It's like when they bleep out goddamn, they bleep out God and keep the damn.
Yeah, there was some comedy show I was watching where they would bleep wrong words instead of like fuck. So it'd be like, oh, you beep a bitch.
Well, that's kind of
Oh,
like
yeah.
unnecessary censorship that like
Yeah.
1460 does, like every Friday. I enjoy that.
But they would like bleep the word before or after the actual cuss word, and it, I don't know why that strikes me so funny, but it does. Just intentional wrongness.
It's so great. I'm sick of these Monday to Friday snakes.
Yeah. Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
Oh man, the censored version of The Big Lebowski is just
Oh
wonderful.
my god. I couldn't even... It would be incomprehensible.
There's literally 5 minutes of fuck in that.
Yeah.
If you listen to this, pause, go to YouTube, and watch the fuck supercut of The Big Lebowski. You're gonna love it.
It's great.
This is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass. And I think they change it to this is what happens when you screw a stranger in the woods.
No, I think it's when you find a stranger in the woods.
Oh, yeah. This is what happens when you find a stranger in the woods.
Yep. It's so bad. Just leave it in and bleep it. I'm sure I'm missing movies that I hate that everybody loves.
Yeah.
But most of them are just going to be like big box office, steal your money.
Yeah,
Crappy
I
movies.
tend to dislike giant big box office popcorn films.
But on the other hand, other side of the coin, I tend to like those too.
What we do need to talk about, though, is what our ultimate...
Hate movie?
Yeah.
Clockwork Orange.
And mine's going to be Serenity.
I detest it.
KJ has tried to force that movie onto me so many times, and I'm like, dude, I can't handle this movie rape. Stop forcing it onto me.
David, ultimate hate movie.
I don't know that I have an ultimate hate movie because I don't know.
What is a movie that you just fucking detest, no matter what?
I guess I can say a Christmas or a Christmas Story. That'll be mine.
Fair enough.
Damn, that's brutal. Poor Ralphie.
Yep. Hey, Clockwork Orange fans are thinking the same thing.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure all of our 30 and Nerdy fans probably love Serenity, and now they're going to hate us.
Yep.
You're welcome, Internet.
Just you.
It's all right.
Try to change.
I've
us.
always
Here's your
been
challenge.
the weak link of the podcast anyway. I know everybody wants to boot me out. They're like, bring back Brock. Bring back Brock.
Brock's never been on.
Ooh.
It was John.
John.
Oh, bring back John.
It's only
That
for
was
one
like-
episode.
That was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, that
Once.
was when your daughter was born.
Yeah, but it stayed in their hearts like, that's what podcasting's supposed to be. Crap, they brought back the fat loud guy.
Well, I'm soon going to be living with him, and I can have him record like a John's Corner. John's thoughts, and I'll have like really cheesy elevator. Be-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee.
I was going to say, I can put together like a vibrachord
Yeah,
piano interlude for it.
like
Kinda like at the end of
infomercial
a-
music.
No, like at the end of Doogie Howser.
Yeah, that I get that reference.
Somebody out there will get that. I'm pretty sure David gets it.
I
Like
do.
that music at the end when he's typing his journal.
Uh-huh.
You talk about like Rugrats or Doug. I
Now,
get
like,
that.
here's the crazy part. If you go back and you watch Doogie Howser, It's about a woman who wants to fuck a 14-year-old boy.
Is that like the Big Bang Theory?
No.
What
It's
are
Neil
you-
Patrick Harris playing a boy prodigy who's a doctor who's like 16 years old or
Oh,
14
like
years
young
old.
Sheldon.
Basically.
Oh my god! I saw the greatest review for that fucking Young Sheldon show.
The why.
Yes, it was so good. It was actually printed in newspaper print, and it just says why, like a whole fucking page column
half page. Yeah,
of why with like,
this didn't need to happen. Why is this happening? Why?
and then it's like something about like the most extreme violence you could ever do in the world, and at the end it's just like, why is this a thing?
See, I think that show to me isn't good, but a lot of people fucking love it. They swear by it. It's like, oh, it's my favorite show on TV. I'm like, good for you. I'm glad you found something you like, but I think it's
My grandparents
really
love
bad.
The Big Bang Theory.
so do mine. They love it. Like that Sheldon character, he's a real funny guy. Like,
Do
yeah,
you
funny
ever
thing is,
tell
like,
them
he
that?
sure is, Grandpa.
Do you ever like ruin your grandparents' image and be like, yeah, he's gay in real life?
No, I'll let him live.
Live.
The charade. Haha, sure as you are.
Ha ha.
But like, it's fun to hate on that show. But I mean, it's,
I don't mind
it's-
it, but
But Bringa,
There's worse shows
Bazinga.
on TV than that.
I was making a.
No.
I've
I thought
some
you
of the
were just-
newer seasons. My parents watch it when I'm over there. Some of the jokes are kind of funny.
It's I
some-
take it or leave it. I don't really
Yeah.
care.
It's a show.
All right, well, let's wrap this up with a bow.
Yep.
So, our next episode, we're gonna have some spoopy creppies for you for Halloween,
We have a special guest.
Derek, and I'm really looking forward to recording that, and I'm really looking forward to you guys hearing it. So, until then, I've been AJ.
Yo, it's your main man, MC Brady.
And I'm David.
And thank you very much for listening.